Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've decided I wanted to start a new series on my channel called Motivational Mondays. This is going to be a way to kickstart your week and maybe a little bit of motivation or a little bit of push in the right direction. If you are into these types of videos, please let me know down below, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The first video I'm going to kick off the series with is how to create structure in your life without feeling overwhelmed. So this is about mostly just like creating a routine, ways as moms that we can do that without feeling overwhelmed or feeling like we're not neglecting something else that we may feel is important. I'll share ways of how I create structure that actually feel doable and not rigid. I want to start off by saying I am someone that used to procrastinate a lot. I remember when I had both my daughters, I did not have a hospital bag packed, and I remember just feeling like very uncomfortable, and I realized that me not being prepared, not only in that moment, but in other moments, I would feel very, like definitely uncomfortable, but I felt like I looked like I wasn't put together, which clearly I did not look in front of my peers. It's like, you know how sometimes when you run out of gas and you'll be like, oh, I'll go get it in the morning, instead of doing it then or going out after dinner to do it, because then you get tired or wherever the case may be. And then in the morning, all hell breaks loose and your kids aren't listening, or there's traffic and you forget to get gas. You run out on the side or you're late for work. This is just ways to help you guys create structure. These are things that have worked for me, like I said. And this is practices that I've been doing now for I'd say, you know what, since COVID is when everything had shut down, that's when I was like, okay, this is a time for me to kind of not rebrand myself, but get my shit together, which is exactly what I did. Now, first, I want to kick off by saying there is a difference between structure and perfectionism. The word structure to me means organized, a system, maybe a routine, helps create clarity. It also still allows flexibility, making sure that your routine is still flexible. Like, it's not something that's rigid. So an example I have is for structure is a morning routine. So I know in the morning I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to eat lunch, I'm going to finish work, and I'm going to go to the gym and then come home and do my self-care, my nighttime routine. That's my idea of like a routine for the day. Now, perfection is when you strive for everything to be done perfect without any error. I actually remember back when Simone was a baby and my husband Wes was helping me do something, and I had this high expectation that if he didn't do something perfect the first time, that it wasn't done right. And it wasn't until my aunt made a comment to me and she's like, but you need to remember though, just because it's not perfect doesn't mean it's wrong. And this sparks went off in my head, and I'm like, and I stopped and I thought about that for like a week, and I was like, she's exactly right. Just because he's doing things his way doesn't mean it's not perfect, or it doesn't mean that I shouldn't value and show him that I'm appreciative of what he's doing to help me. There's actually a group of ladies I meet with weekly, and we talk about our goals and for the week, the month, the year, the quarter, everything. Like, we talk about all of our goals. And a few weeks ago, one of them made a comment about like just anchoring your day with 2 or 3 non-negotiable things that you know that you need to get done. And I think that when you're first starting this whole routine process, if you're someone that procrastinates a lot or it's a new thing to you, right? Like, they say that a new routine does take 30 days to fully get into the habit of doing it on a consistent basis. So for instance, me working out, it took me like probably 3 months of working out consistently for it to be like a second nature to me, where it's like, okay, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to go work out. I know at lunchtime I'm going to go for a walk, or whatever the case may be. Actually, a few years ago, we had built a house in Saskatoon, and I started to get really overwhelmed with cleaning this house and laundry and everything weekly or bi-weekly or whatever the case may be. And I went on Pinterest and I found a schedule that really worked for me. How often to clean certain areas of my house. I wrote them down and I followed the schedule until it just became second nature to me, where I was like, okay, I know on Wednesdays and Sundays, I'm going to do laundry. I know on Fridays, I'm going to strip all the beds and do all the bedding. I know at the end of the month, I'm going to wash all the duvet covers, a system that worked for me. And I actually 5 to 6 years later, I'm still using the same routine weekly. And there is room for flexibility in this. Like, if I'm sick or if something comes up or if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. but eventually I will get around to doing it. So back to anchoring your day with 2 to 3 non-negotiables. This is how my routine works, is in the morning I'm going to get up. Sometimes I'll journal, sometimes I won't. Working out is not something I do in the morning because I do not have the motivation to get it done in the mornings. But after work, after a stressful day, that is 100% when I'm going to go to the gym and work out for an hour. I know before I go to the gym at lunchtime, possibly because I do work from home, I may make dinner or something, like put it in the Instant Pot or cook something quickly and have all the sides. Like if we do tacos or something like that, just having things ready to go. So when my kids get home from school, there's a snack for them to have after school, and there's also dinner for them to have when they get hungry at dinner time. But when it comes to the big things or the things that it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that, just give yourself maybe a timeline to get those things done. So again, you're not procrastinating. I've made a habit a few years ago of really making sure I pour back into my own cup when it comes to self-care. And self-care is something I'm going to talk about in a different video because self-care is just so near and dear to my heart. It's something I feel like as women, we tend to neglect because we feel bad or guilty when you have kids for pouring back into your cup, and it's like, oh, I have kids, I can't do this for myself. And I was the same way for a long time, and then I seen the way my husband was, and he was still pouring back into his cup, and he would go to the movies, take himself to the movies, he would go golfing. And I thought about it and I was like, it's not fair that he gets to basically live his life. And then one day I said it to him and he's like, but I'm not stopping you from stopping living your life. We both have had kids. So you know that I'm here. And if you choose to not go out and go shopping or go do whatever it is you feel like you need to do, then that's a you problem. And I was like, touche. That is 100% a me problem. So after that, I just really started to make sure I at least have at least 1 hour a day of alone time. That can be, again, going to the gym, going for a walk, going to the grocery store. It doesn't really matter to me. I just do not want to be on Jeffrey duty constantly, getting my kids snacks, doing laundry. You know what I mean? Another important thing I want to touch on is building flexibility into your routine. Like I said earlier, things may happen. Your kids may get sick. You may get sick. Your washing machine may break. It's okay to not stress about, again, the little things. So if I know that, on Wednesdays and Sundays, I typically do laundry. If on Wednesday and Sunday it doesn't work out, it may get pushed to Thursday. And maybe I'll just do laundry one day that week instead of doing it 2 times. Or maybe that week I'll tell my kids, you know what, I'm too busy this week. You guys can do your own laundry. Finding basically a solution to the problem so you don't feel overwhelmed when you aren't able to achieve those small goals and you continue to move even when things don't work in your favor. Now, tools that work for me that make structure a lot more attainable would be a planner, using my calendar on my phone. I make a lot of to-do lists. I have a lot of notes in my phone also with like things I need to get done or goals I have, or really that's it. Goals and things I need to get done throughout the week. And I usually keep my list like weekly, but I was actually thinking about going to get a physical planner today because I just have a lot going on right now. And I was like, it would be nice to be able to just have a book and write things down instead of going on my phone and then I have to click on the day to see what's happening on that day. So I actually seen that Staples has some really nice planners, but they're pretty expensive and I don't want to spend more than like $10 or $15 on a planner. So I think I may run down to Winners Home Sense and see what they have. In the past, I've also used just a notebook with lines on it and just kind of, okay, on this day, I'm going to do these things. But then I've noticed over the last maybe 3 to 6 months, that turns into a to-do list and not like a daily list or a weekly or monthly list. I need to be able, like I said again, be able to see appointments my kids have or things that are coming up so I do not forget them. Now, I know sometimes, like I said earlier, it's kind of hard to get into the routine of structure. Even if you just start with, okay, this week I need to, let's say, clean out my garage, and you give yourself maybe 30-minute block each day to get it done. Or so that, because sometimes I feel like when I give myself a task to do, I get so overwhelmed with, oh my God, it's going to take me so long. And then I end up dragging it out because I don't want to be chained to doing this task for a long period of time. Like for instance, the other week, I cleaned out my closet. So I thought my closet and my bathroom were only going to take me max an hour and a half to do. And by 3.5 hours, I was so over it. But I've already started and I've trained myself now. Like if I start something, I need to finish it. Whereas the old me would be like, you know what? I'm done for the day. I'll come back to this when I get to it. Stuff would probably still look a mess, or it wouldn't look like I did anything, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's important too that, and this works for me, is just making sure that your space is clean. Me, I teach my kids that making sure your space is clean is a form of gratitude. It's a sign also, in my opinion, this is my opinion again, is to not take things for granted. Like I remember when I was growing up and we moved to Vancouver and I slept on the floor on blankets for 6 months to a year. I just had a completely different way of childhood than my kids have, but I teach my kids always to be grateful, stay humble, and don't take anything for granted, because things can be gone like that. How I pour back into my family and is I like to make sure that things are tidy. I know how hard my husband and I have worked for our house. And again, I don't take anything for granted, because I have been through the darkest of times. I have been through the lowest of lows. And I am truly grateful for the way that my life is today and how great my life continues to get each and every day. I just want to add one thing, a little homework for you guys to do if you have stayed around for this long. Try anchoring just one thing into your week. Let me know how that changed your week. Let me know down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.